Well, hi there. This is Into Survival. Chapter 6 of a survival series will be the psychology of survival and the 7 enemies of it. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. When I was a cadet, there were what they called mission adventure book of supplementary instruction. Okay, I'm not sure how good you're going to see that. This is a copy of the old manual that I still have, and this book had a chapter that basically uh, dedicated to psychology of survival. That include also a couple of other specificity that we've seen, like the priority of survival, shelter, signals, things like that, that we can see further down the road. These are should have been a preamble to the acronyms, because these are put into consideration in the acronyms. So the psychology of the survival basically revolves around the aspect of our mind. Uh, what will bring our mind to make us survive or not. We've seen the factor of survival. We touch about it a bit. It's all part of that psychology. Okay, that's why we have acronyms. That's to bring our brain back online using simple words, simple command to take control of the psychology of the survival. One of the main factor of the psychology of the survival is training. It is preparation. It is all kinds of things you do way ahead of being lost. Preparation is probably the most important factor, because preparation will lead you to not be into a survival situation. And I explain. If you're well prepared, what could have put you into a survival situation may not arise. If you're well prepared with map compass, you may not get lost. If you are well prepared with first aid equipment, a scrape might not keep you away from getting out of the woods. If you're well prepared, well, basically, you don't get into a survival situation. But shit happens. Sorry for the language, but shit does hit the fan at one point, and you have no control about getting into a survival situation. And that's where your psychology, your mind, if it's prepared a bit, at least lightly, it might save you from just dying. So that's the concept that that psychology of the survival must be taken to. It's a long science. It could fill video over video with psychologists and everything and specialists, and we're not, but we're people that dwell into the edge of the psychology. And one of the main factor of psychology is the fear itself. Human fear things. You climb a tree, and at one point you have a fear of heights. That's a trigger warning that will bring you at that point saying, okay, is it safe to go on? Do I take the risk, and which risk do I take? And is it worth what I'm trying to accomplish? And all those questions will come into your mind while doing activity. That's why people train to climb, because at one point something they do will bring them to the fear factor and will tell them if they can go beyond or not. And if they go beyond, they'll conquer their fear and establish a new level to which the fear is going to be present. So it's that that must be. But there's all kinds of type of fear that we encounter. Okay, we have the fear of death. We have a fear of loneliness. We have the fear of the wildlife. There is the fear of darkness. There is the fear of our own incapacity of doing things. Our fear of not succeeding. Uh, the fear of the incomfort. Okay, the unknown, and many other uh, personal fear that we have. We uh, might be being alone in wilderness, things like that. So all kinds of fears will affect our mind, and those fears must be taken under control. Okay, if we don't take those under control, they will take control of us, and that's one of the approach that we have to have. Okay, there is in those with related to fear, there is uh, things that we have to succeed over. Fear and panic, because fear will bring panic. There's many example that I've related to earlier in many other video where fear was deadly to the person and wasn't able to be um, rescued by, even though the rescuer were really nearby. The fear made the person lose his life way before the rescuer was able to come to help them, and they were nearby. So things will happen. I mean, if you panic is synonymous of death, basically. So, what are the 7 enemies of survival? The first one is pain. Okay, pain. You break a leg, that's really painful. And if you break a leg, that pain might bring you to to a factor that will bring you basically. Well, first of all, you've hurt. Second of all, you might not be confident in getting out alive of this situation. So it's all has to be taken care of. Pain is one of the worst of them because it'll numb your head and it'll numb your decision. So and it will weaken you to do your survival. So pain is one of the worst. Cold. Cold is also difficult because you have to deal with it. I mean, the room here, I'm getting outside. I have a IR warmer on the terrace, so I can be in t-shirt, but it's not warm, and I still feel the urge of being fast. So I'm trying not to speak too fast, but that cold present makes me do things, and I have to move to keep on the eat. And in the wilderness, cold is one of the first enemy in pain to be dealt with, because you need to seek, well, the priority is survival. We've seen it where you needed to seek shelter and heat. Eat in the summer is useful either as a recomfort, something like that. So it brings your spirit up, and it will also give you eat, which makes you lose less calories fighting the cold. So cold is also one of the great challenge we have in survival, because it will demand more resources. Okay, so if you're getting too cold, like hypothermia, your body is getting numb, you're getting less tactile, you can't, tasks are getting difficult to do, you've got to put on some more coats and layers, and your agility is reduced and everything. So it's getting you harder and harder to maintain that heat and protect you. So your clothing is your first protection. We've seen it. It's the first it's what's going to get you through. So if you're out on a hike that's supposed to be about 2 hours. It's 2 in the afternoon, so 4 o'clock in the winter, no problem. You're out by daytime. But if something happened and you're stuck at midpoint and you're not getting out, that night is going to be very cold, and that's where your preparation, if you brought some clothing, will permit you to go through that ordeal and maybe get out the next day or in the night. So that way, when temperatures goes down, you'll be able to fight it. The one other factor is the thirst. Thirst. Well, basically, you can't go along working without any waters or any things like that. So you need water to sustain your body and your mind mainly. And your mind will lose its sharpness as soon as you lose water. So dehydration will cause you to be less acute and take more risk and not being safe enough to maybe all cause you other problems. So hunger, well, it's a dangerous one. You might go, you can sustain yourself, you can live for 3 days. Is that 3 days or 3 weeks without food? But your level of energy is going to be really low. And that is one of the effects of hunger. Okay? Fatigue. What a timely yawn. Fatigue. Fatigue, again, will affect your mental state, will affect the way you're doing things, and get you more in trouble because you're not as responsive to your environment as you were before. So you may walk for many hours, and once fatigue gets you, that walk might become dangerous because you're so fatigued that you don't see really where you're going, and you're tripped on everything, and then you're getting hurt, and then you may just fall off the trail. So I've seen these many times. I mean, fatigue, you walk like a zombie, and you follow your partner in front of you and don't realize that what you follow is helmet, and is pulling his helmet away from him, and you're following the markers he has in the back of his helmet when it's really dark, and you just walk off the trail. And that happened. I've seen it happen. And you may just sleep while walking, and that's kind of dangerous also, because walking alone on a trail, not knowing where you're going, is getting, well, it brings more problem, because you just might get away from where you're supposed to go and not land where you want to be. Boredom and loneliness is the last one. Again, we're creatures of what they say, of many people, and we like companies. But boredom, if you don't have anything to do and you're waiting and you're lonely, our morale is just getting down, because we're not made to do that. We're not made to be alone. So we're a creature of that. So you have to manage all these, the fear and the enemies of survival. You have to manage those in a way to bring your spirit up and keep it up. The attitude you have is you have to be mindful of that, and you have to set your goal to survival. One of the biggest decision you have to take is realize first you're lost. Second, that you will survive. The will of survival is about essential. in the psychology of the survival. So that will bring you to fight thirst, hunger, fatigue, and everything, but you want to survive, and that's the most important thing that you have to have in that attitude. Okay, uh, everything you're doing, training, watching videos, reading books, going in the field, trying to light a fire, it's all the attitude of preparation. The preparation that you're making, preparatory attitude, is to get yourself into some situation, some control situation, where you have to face loneliness, where you have to face boredom, where you have to face thirst, hungry, things like that. So you can get your body not accoutrate, but you might get a bit of use to it, and that way when it happens, okay, because at one point it may happen or it will happen, uh, then the training you've done or the notion you've acquired will all come back. And if you can put your head straight and not panic, then these will bring you some comfort and will give you some things to work with. Failure to identify that it may happen is recipe to be into that situation. Thinkums, I mean, we have all kinds of expression. If if thing will go bad, they will. Okay, if shit's gonna hit the fan, it will. Things happen, and it will happen. And now we're not even talking about group psychology, because in a group, like they say, in a group, the IQ level goes down by the number of people in the group. So that also applies for survival. That's why in a group you have to have a leader. Unfortunately, you may not be. It's not going to be a democracy at one point, but the efficiency of the leader. Individual will have needs, will have feels, will have wants, and everybody wants something that's different from the other. And everybody has an opinion, but nobody knows why they have that opinion. So in a group, it's easy, it's even a greater challenge to bring the group to survival than it is to do it yourself. And that's the problem, because in a group you have leaders, you've got bad leaders, you've got individuals, you've got all kinds of people with and without skill, and you've got to use everyone with their skill. And that's why it is a very difficult topic to talk about. So group survival is another topic. We might just go to that a little further. It's an implication of the individual topic. As to individual survival, okay, that's why we've made up all the acronyms. Remember that card? Well, I'm going to blow up an image and put it in front. The acronyms are there to get you through the situation and bring your mind back towards preparation, towards survival. And that's why we made the acronym. That's why in the cadets it's a simple acronym like STOP, but in the military they use the larger acronym survival, which encompasses a lot more information. But most of the time for the cadets, we consider that the survival will be at maximum 72 hours. Pilots usually also prepare for a 72-hour survival. It's rare that you get past that point once you're in a known environment or known sortie. So pilots file flight path. Cadets, we do sortie. Parents know where we're going usually, and there is a phone all over. So if one cadet is not showing up at the end of the day, it's on a very determined territory. So that's why we're making the training to a 72 hours ordeal, not more than that. So usually if cadets are training for survival, they'll go for 12 hours, 36 hours max of survival, and we give them items so to survive. So that's about it. It's a very hard subject to summarize in a video like that. It could be a series all by itself, trying to go through each point and make example and give you more to meditate about on each point. But the enemies of the survival are the 7 things you should watch out, and they will affect you if you become in survival. So I'm not sure if I succeeded in give you an idea of what the psychology of the survival implies, but it's a subject that you should be looking into and trying to get more out of it, because your preparation will save you a lot of heartache, and that's why it is an important subject. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share, and subscribe, and leave comments. I mean, in the comments we can explore some part of this video that I didn't go through yet about survival. So we'll see you back in the next video.